huge confidence. Burrough Hill lad coming down to the third last in the Gainsborough chase. Burrough Hill lad, the better jump. Silverbuck under pressure and gets a backhander there and struggling. Burrough Hill lad turning the tap on as he turns into the home straight. 2 to jump. Burrough Hill lad going clear from Silverbuck. 2 out. Burrough Hill lad, a superb jump from Silverbuck second. Royal Judgment might deprive him of second place. There's only one horse in the race. There's one fence to jump. It's Burrough Hill lad, a long way clear. At the last, jumps down to the fence a little bit, but Burrough Hill lad is a long way clear from Silverbuck, who makes a mistake. And it's Burrough Hill lad getting a well-deserved round of applause. A tremendous reception, in fact. Burrough Hill lad, a long way clear from Royal Judgment. Burrough Hill lad, the winner.
Has jumped. McGaughan has jumped off with the others. Observe over on the far side. Brown Chamberlain, Burrough, Foxbury on the near side. Burrough Hill lad just behind them. And Brown Chamberlain landed in the lead there. From Burrough, Foxbury, $50 more on the far side with Observe, and then Burrough Hill lad and Scott Lane and Everett as they jump the second, and all safely over it with Royal Bond just the back marker. And Brown Chamberlain and $50 more, 2 stable companions making it. From Scott Lane and Observe, and then Burrough, and on the outside of Burrough is Foxbury. Then comes Burrough Hill lad, and on the outside of Burrough Hill lad is Everett. Behind Everett is Wayward lad, then Canny Danny, Drumlargan and Royal Bond. $50 more on the inside of Brown Chamberlain. Very close to the lead is the third team member, Observe. Then Scott Lane, Foxbury on the outer. Burrough, Burrough Hill lad, Canny Danny, Drumlargan, Everett, Wayward lad and Royal Bond as they run down to the water for the first time. $50 more on the inside as we see them. Brown Chamberlain and Foxbury, a little between the trio, and Burrough very close to them, and then Observe. Then Burrough Hill lad and Scott Lane and Everett as they come to the first of the 4 ditches. Foxbury on the outside. And Brown Chamberlain in the center, and $50 more on the near side. Plain fence this time. Brown Chamberlain, $50 more, and Foxbury. Very little between the trio. Burrough is right up with them too as they race towards another ditch. Brown Chamberlain, $50 more, and Burrough. Then Burrough Hill lad and Foxbury. Then Observe and Scott Lane and Canny Danny and Everett and Wayward lad, and behind Wayward lad is Drumlargan, and then comes Royal Bond. Mistake by Wayward lad at that one. He's third from last. They're racing to the top of the hill. Brown Chamberlain's in the lead. From Burrough in second. And then comes $50 more and Observe and Foxbury and Burrough Hill lad, and then Scott Lane and Canny Danny and Everett and Wayward lad, and then Drumlargan and Royal Bond as they run down towards the next. The 9th of the 22 fences in all. Brown Chamberlain in the lead from Burrough and $50 more. Then Observe on the inside of Burrough Hill lad. Then comes Foxbury. Then Scott Lane and Canny Danny. Then Wayward lad towards the outside. Then Everett. Then Drumlargan and Royal Bond as they come down to the 10th. Brown Chamberlain, Burrough. From $50 more and Burrough Hill lad and Wayward lad and Observe. Then Scott Lane and Foxbury. Then Canny Danny and Everett, Drumlargan and Royal Bond. This will be the second last fence on the next circuit. It's number 11 of the 22 this time, and Brown Chamberlain's in the lead from Burrough. $50 more is next. Then Burrough Hill lad and Wayward lad and Observe and Scott Lane are behind them, Canny Danny, and then Everett. Then Royal Bond improving a little, Drumlargan, and Foxbury's now the back marker. Brown Chamberlain lands in the lead from Burrough, a little between the two. $50 more is next. Then Wayward lad, Burrough Hill lad, Observe, Canny Danny, Scott Lane, Royal Bond, Everett and Drumlargan. Quite a long run to the next fence. A plain one before the water, and still John Frankham on Brown Chamberlain making the running in the 1984 Gold Cup from Burrough on the inside. $50 more and Wayward lad and Burrough Hill lad and Observe come next, and then Scott Lane. And as they come to the 13th, Royal Bond improving a little on the outside. Brown Chamberlain lands in the lead there. $50 more, a bad mistake. Gets away with it. Burrough has lost a lot of ground there and looks as though he's pulling up with Graham Bradley is under pressure, losing a lot of ground. Brown Chamberlain landed in the lead there from Burrough Hill Lad, making ground on the inner, and Burgoyne has now gone back into the picture. Wayward Lad is improving on the outside. Scott Lane's only just in behind him, and then comes Royal Bond as they jump the third ditch, and Brown Chamberlain landed in the lead there from Burrough Hill Lad and Burgoyne, and Wayward Lad on the outside. Burgoyne once again losing ground and under pressure, but losing a lot of ground as they jump that one. Beginning to swing left-handed now and face towards the final ditch. Everett is tailed off last. This is 6 from home. Brown Chamberlain's in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad and Wayward Lad. Just in behind them comes Scott Lane, Drumlargan, who's improving the final ditch. Brown Chamberlain lands in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad, Wayward Lad, Scott Lane, Drumlargan. Racing towards the top of the hill now. 5 from home. Brown Chamberlain in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad. Wayward Lad, Scott Lane and Drumlargan. Drumlargan still improving. Canny Danny comes next. Racing downhill now towards the 4th from home. Brown Chamberlain in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad second. Scott Lane has gone third. Drumlargan is still improving with every stride. Wayward Lad comes next, and then comes Canny Danny improving from the rear. Brown Chamberlain down in the lead there from Burrough Hill Lad. Then came Scott Lane. Mistake by Wayward Lad at that one. They're coming down now towards the third last, and it's Brown Chamberlain from Burrough Hill Lad. Drumlargan is still coming there. Then comes Scott Lane and Canny Danny over the third last. Brown Chamberlain, Burrough Hill Lad, Drumlargan a mistake. Then comes Scott Lane and Canny Danny racing towards the second last fence now, and the elbow with Brown Chamberlain in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad, Drumlargan, Scott Lane and Canny Danny. Just 2 fences left to jump in the Gold Cup. Brown Chamberlain in the lead from Burrough Hill Lad coming to challenge. It's John Frankham from Phil Tuck. There's little between the two at the second last. Drumlargan is third, Scott Lane 4, Brown Chamberlain and Burrough Hill Lad together. Brown Chamberlain jumps out to the right a little bit. It's Brown Chamberlain on the near side, Burrough Hill Lad on the far side. There's nothing between them. John Frankham and Phil Tuck at the final fence. Burrough Hill Lad lands in the lead on the far side. It's Burrough Hill Lad on the far side, Brown Chamberlain on the near side. Drumlargan is third. They're racing into the closing stages. Burrough Hill Lad on the far side. Brown Chamberlain getting a great sprint out of the rails on the near side. But Burrough Hill Lad's going to hold him and win the Gold Cup. Burrough Hill Lad's the winner. Brown Chamberlain is second. Drumlargan is third. That's the 1, 2, 3. Scott Lane is just 4th ahead of Burgoyne, $50 more, and Canny Danny, and then came Royal Bond and Observe.
Well, a large crowd gathered at Wincanton on Thursday, anticipating John Frankham riding his 1,000th winner, but he didn't quite do it. He needed 5 to break the barrier, and he only rode 2 winners. 4 runners lined up for the day's big race, the Jim Ford Challenge Cup. What we didn't expect was the drama that unfolded on the far side of the course. Both jumped this fence all right. Burrough Hill Lad did make a mistake, but look at Burgoyne on the inside. He's now digging his toes in, and despite Graham Bradley's urging on top, he's trying to pull up. Burrough Hill Lad goes off and away, and at the next fence, Burgoyne just didn't want to know. He flatly refused to jump the next fence, and his jockey, quite wisely, decided to call it a day. Meanwhile, Burrough Hill Lad just hopped over the remaining fences and won in a common canter to remain joint favourite with Wayward Lad for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Not surprisingly, Connections were very pleased with their horse in the winner's enclosure, and that's where I talked with winning trainer Jenny Pittman. Jenny, many congratulations. I suppose not the way you'd really like to win it, but a winner anyway.
Well, I wanted him to do a bit of work today, but I didn't want him getting to the bottom of himself. I said to Johnny, if it did come to a battle at the end of the race, I didn't want him being knocked about. I didn't expect him to win 2 fences.
So, in effect, it was the ideal thing you wanted, really?
Absolutely ideal. Couldn't be more pleased.
So, now for the Cheltenham Gold Cup?
Yeah, that's where we go next.
Now, what about your famous predictions? They usually come right in the past. What are you going to predict for the Cheltenham Gold Cup this time?
I'm very confident. I mean, I know, you see, this is quite a fast track here and quite a small track. My horse stays, he jumps, he does everything. He's got every ingredient you require. He's got foot at the end of a race. And I'm fairly confident he won't get beaten.
Well, Graham, tell us what happened with Burgoyne on the far side.
Well, it was obvious, Derek, nothing was going to go fast enough for my liking. So I had to make my own running. The track was far too sharp for him. The going was far too firm for him, and not many runners around him. Early on, I was happy as Larry. He was jumping away grand, just going a nice, decent gallop my own time. Turned away from the stands. I seemed to be going all right, just quickened away from the bend. And about 2 or 3 strides from the first fence down the back, he just started to look and stop and prop. And he's got far too close to the fence, and as soon as I've got over the other side, just one stride, he just stuck his toes in, put his head up in the air, and he just wasn't going any further.
Why was that? I mean, the horse is all right, isn't he?
He's perfectly well. I think it was just the three things that I've just mentioned, the fast ground, the sharp track, and not many runners around him. And he always has had a little bit of a temperament.
Yeah.
Possibly because of the bad weather and him not being so well, we haven't been able to give him a lot of work. We might have just given him a bit too much too quickly, sort of thing. It might have soured him a little bit, but that's the only thing I can think of, because he was going sweetly.
Yes, it was almost unbelievable if you hadn't seen it for yourselves. Burgourn refusing. I think he's just turned a little bit sour. Anyway, he might run at Kelso on Tuesday, and then we'll know exactly what's happening, whether he runs or not, in the Cheltenham.
And they're running. Gay Chance, the first to show, from Phil the Fluter and Drumlog, and then Everett on the inside. Canidani, Tracy Special and Cumbie as they come to the first. First of the 21 fences. Gay Chance lands in the lead, and they're all safely over the first. Now racing towards the first ditch. Gay Chance with Canidani on the inside, then Phil the Fluter and Everett and Tracy Special and Drumlogan and Cumbie, and behind them Earl's Brig. Then comes Burrough Hill Lad and Lucky Vane, Suntilla Boy, and the back markers at the moment are Cobley Express and Fortina's Express. Coming to the third. Gay Chance, Canidani and Phil the Fluter. Phil the Fluter landed just in the lead from Canidani on the inside, and Cumbie going up to join Gay Chance with Drumlargan there very close. Earl's Brig and Tracy Special and Everett close behind him as they jump the fourth, and then Burrough Hill Lad. Behind these come Lucky Vane and Suntilla Boy and Fortina's Express and Cobley Express as they come to the next. This will be the fifth. Gay Chance and Canidani, with between these two, Phil the Fluter. Right up with them is Cumbie. Then comes Everett. Burrough Hill Lad on the inside, Earl's Brig and Drumlargan on the far side, Tracy Special in behind them with Suntilla Boy next, and then Lucky Vane as they race towards the cross fence. Number 6, Gay Chance in the lead, from Canidani and Phil the Fluter together, and then Everett, and then Cumbie, and then Drumlargan. Then comes Earl's Brig, then Burrough Hill Lad and Tracy Special and Fortina's Express, Cobley Express, Suntilla Boy as they swing for home on the first circuit. Lucky Vane just the back marker. Coming towards the seventh now. It's a ditch after this. Gay Chance nearest to us. Canidani on the far side. Phil the Fluter between horses. Gay Chance to the near side. Over on the far side, the sheepskin nose band Canidani. Between horses, Phil the Fluter. Cumbie was just in behind them. Burrough Hill Lad's right over on the far rail. Everett's close to the lead, and then comes Earl's Brig and Drumlargan, and then Tracy Special. Second ditch this. Gay Chance from Canidani, and Earl's Brig a faller there. Earl's Brig has gone. He's continuing riderless. Peter Craggs has yet to get to his feet. Coming to the ninth. He's up on his feet, Peter Craggs. Canidani there from Phil the Fluter. Everett, Gay Chance. Then Cumbie, Tracy Special and Drumlargan and Burrough Hill Lad. A gap then to Fortina's Express and Lucky Vane. Suntilla Boy, and then comes Cobbler's Express over the 10th. Canidani, Phil the Fluter, Gay Chance, Cumbie and Everett, and then Drumlargan, then Tracy Special, and then Burrough Hill Lad, then Fortina's Express. Coming to the water now. Number 11 of the 21 fences in all. Canidani loses a little bit of ground just before the water, hampered by the loose horse there, but goes on again on the inside. Canidani from Phil the Fluter and Gay Chance, little between these three. Then comes Cumbie on the inside of Everett with Tracy Special on the outer. Just in behind them, Burrough Hill Lad and Drumlargan, and then Fortina's Express. And then a gap to Lucky Vane, Suntilla Boy, and finally Cobley Express. So over the far side for another complete circuit now in the 1984 Hennessy Gold Cup. Towards the 12th, Phil the Fluter from Canny Danny and Gay Chance. Then comes Everett and Cumbie. Then Tracy's Special, a good jump by Burrough lad on the inside. Then Drumlargan and Fortina's Express going quite strongly in behind them. The third of the four ditches now, Phil the Fluter from Gay Chance, Canny Danny and Cumbie and Everett, and another good jump by Burrough lad on the inside. Then comes Tracy's Special and Drumlargan and Fortina's Express. Coming to the 14th now. Cobley Express has pulled up. Phil the Fluter jumped it in the lead from Canny Danny and Cumbie and Everett, and then Burrough lad on the inside. And Gay Chance right up there with the lead now at the 15th. Phil the Fluter from Gay Chance. A mistake there by Burrough lad, the top weight. Phil the Fluter from Gay Chance, Canny Danny. Then comes Cumbie, then Everett. 6 from home this. Then Burrough lad, then Tracy's Special, Drumlargan and Fortina's Express. So racing now with 5 left to jump towards the cross fence, and as they do so, it's Phil the Fluter in the lead, Canny Danny on the inside, Gay Chance right up there on the far side, Cumbie still in contention, so is Everett just in behind him, and then Burrough lad and Tracy's Special making very good progress, Drumlargan making heavy weather of it, and then comes Fortina's Express as they come to the cross fence now. Gay Chance on the outside of Phil the Fluter. Then comes Cumbie, Tracy's Special and Canny Danny. Phil the Fluter from Gay Chance there, Cumbie in third, Tracy's Special still making ground. Then comes Canny Danny. Behind Canny Danny is Burrough lad, and then Everett, then Drumlargan and Fortina's Express making ground. Racing now into the home straight with 4 left to jump now, coming to a plain one. Phil the Fluter over on the far side, Canny Danny, the sheepskin nose band in the center, Burrough lad trying to sneak up on the far rail, Gay Chance well there. Tracy's Special, then comes Everett just in behind him, and as they jump this one, Gay Chance on the near side. Gay Chance with the margin advantage now from Tracy's Special, and over on the far side, Phil the Fluter, and still trying to come there, Burrough lad. This is the final ditch. Gay Chance and Canny Danny jump it together. Over on the far side, Burrough lad still making significant progress. It's Canny Danny now on the near side as Gay Chance loses ground quickly. Canny Danny on the near side, Burrough lad on the far side. Burrough lad lands in the lead. Burrough lad in the lead now from Canny Danny, Gay Chance, as they race now towards the final fence in the Hennessy, and it's the top weight, Burrough lad and John Frankham from Canny Danny. This is the final fence now. Burrough lad clear. He jumps it clear and jumps it well. Canny Danny jumps it second and Gay Chance jumps it third. Racing into the closing stages, and it's Burrough lad putting up a tremendous performance here to become the 5th successive favourite to win the Hennessy Gold Cup as he strides up towards the line. Burrough lad is the winner. Second is Canny Danny. It's going to be close for third, with Gay Chance just holding on to third place ahead of Fortina's Express, who was fourth, and then came Lucky Vane and Cumbie in a photo for 5th, and behind them came Everett, and then behind him Phil the Fluter, the long-time leader, and then Tracy's Special, and so a great performance by the Gold Cup winner, Burrough lad, the first to compete in the Hennessy, the first Gold Cup winner to compete in the Hennessy since 1971, when the winner of the Gold Cup on that occasion, Lescargo, finished 6th. But Burrough lad has won the 1984 Hennessy and the 28th running at 130. An amazing sequence for the favourites. The result: first, number 1, Burrough lad, owned by Mr. Stan Riley, trained by Mrs. Jenny Pittman and ridden by John Frankham. Second, number 5, Canny Danny, owned by Mr. Petrie Norton, trained by Jimmy Fitzgerald and ridden by Peter Scudamore. Third, number 4, Gay Chance, owned by Mrs. M. Curtis, trained by Mrs. Mercy Rymel and ridden by Sam Moorehead. Fourth was number 10, Fortina's Express. That was the result. Here's how they raced into the closing stages, reviewed by Julian Wilson.
And this is one of the great Hennessy winning performances under 12 stone in really searching ground. And John Frankham took it up at the second last. He's threaded his way through on the inside, rises first there as Phil the Fluter in the red colours comes to the end of his tether. A really tired horse there and just got away with that. Canny Danny, who's battled on, always been in the first 4. He's in second place now. Gay Chance, you can see, made a mistake at that second last as well. And there are really tired horses behind. But Burrough lad, if he is tired, he's not showing it. And he's got the virtuoso Frankham to help him and come to this last with the race won, barring a fall. And no better man to put him at the last with 5 lengths to spare over his nearest rival. Meets it absolutely spot on, puts in a mighty leap, not the leap of a tired horse at all, and comes away to win a famous race to terrific cheering all round. Remember, only Arkle and Millhouse have won this race with 12 stone before, and now Burrough Lad has done it to show himself a real champion. Canny Danny's run a marvellous race. For me, he looked the most attractively handicapped horse in the race, and it seemed as though at the weights Burrough Lad had an impossible task. Well, nothing's impossible when you've got greatness on your side and when you've got John Frankham in the saddle, and this, make no mistake, was one of the great Hennessy performances.
So the champion, John Frankham, returning after his 60th triumph of the season on his second successive Hennessy Cognac Gold Cup. Won it last year on Brown Chamberlain. And Jenny Pittman following her hero there, following the 1984 Cheltenham Gold Cup winner, who's now completed this marvellous double. Burrough Lad, officially the 4 lengths winner with 20 lengths separating second and third, and the starting prices as follows.
First, number 1, Burrough Lad, 100 to 30 favourite. Second, number 5, Canny Danny, 13 to 2. And third, number 4, Gay Chance.
This is fence number 15, the final open ditch, and it's Burrough Lad still who has all the power. Burrough Lad over first, from Wayward Lad in second. Then came Donegal Prince. Rupertino is still in the race, but a long way behind. So 3 plain fences left to take. And can Wayward Lad close and make up these 4 lengths on Burrough Lad? At the moment, he's not doing so. Burrough Lad still in front and well in command from Wayward Lad. On now to the second from home in this Charlie Hall Memorial Pattern Chase here at Wetherby. Burrough Lad jumps it pretty well, and Wayward Lad took off miles before the fence. Had to really reach for that one. And unless he can sprout wings, it's going to be Burrough Lad and Phil Tuck who are going to gain the honours here today. Burrough Lad just 1 to take from Wayward Lad, who looks well beaten in second. At the last, Burrough Lad safely over the last. Here comes Wayward Lad. He jumps it right in second. Donegal Prince just coming to the fence now in third, but only short run for home. It's Burrough Lad, the Cheltenham Gold Cup winner, coming home to win this one. Burrough Lad coming to the line, wins it well by a good 8 lengths.
Runners, but they've won over £342,000 in prize money and 50 races in all, and Burrough Lad leads to the first. Wayward Lad is second and Coombs Ditch is third. The next one they take is the first of 4 open ditches, and it's Burrough Lad from Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch, and Wayward Lad much closer comes to it. The bold jump by him. See the shadow of Coombs Ditch, so that one was over safely in third place. They swing right-handed. Burrough Lad, Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch. So cat and mouse, tactics, tension. Burrough Lad, the leader. Wayward Lad in second place and Coombs Ditch in third. So they've got 4 fences to jump when they level up into the far straight. The first one is a plain fence. That's the one that's just homing into the picture now. A plain fence then. And as they come down to it, it's Burrough Lad from Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch. This is the third. 2 jumped it together. Coombs Ditch jumped with plenty of daylight between himself and the fence. This is a fence. This is a ditch, I should say. A ditch. Burrough Lad as they come to it. Burrough Lad from Wayward Lad. And Coombs Ditch jumping a bit better now. Going down towards the 5th. Burrough Lad, Wayward Lad. Matching strides as they go into this. And Wayward Lad the better jump. Wayward Lad, Burrough Lad, as they go to the 6th, 2, 1, up. And again, the better jump by Wayward Lad. Burrough Lad on the inner. Coombs Ditch back in third. And John Oakesy at this stage. Things going according to plan, would you say?
These are the new tactics, there's no doubt about that. Wayward Lad isn't tracking Burrough Lad, he's taking him on, and on at least 2 occasions, at least 2 fences, he has outjumped him. And of course, if he can do that, it's just conceivable that he might tempt Burrough Lad into error. This big horse used to make the odd mistake. Coming to the first fence in the straight now, They both jumped it perfectly well, with Wayward Lad just about half a length in front. That's not a particularly satisfactory situation for John Frankham, because if you're half a length in front, your horse quite often... You see, Burrough Lad didn't jump that well. Wayward Lad got a length there. This is undoubtedly going according to Robert Earnshaw's plan at the moment. Wayward Lad going beautifully as they come to what will be the next time round. They both pinged that. Coombs Ditch was jumping a little bit big to begin with, but now he's warmed up and is going with them. So as they go past the crowded and thrilled stands, back to you, Graham.
Burrough Lad on the inside of Wayward Lad. Coombs Ditch going well, close up in third. So they head away into the country to the water jump. This is the 10th. Burrough Lad, Wayward Lad, Coombs Ditch. Burrough Lad on the inside. Wayward Lad on the outer, Coombs Ditch in third, another plain fence. This is the 11th. Wayward Lad on the right. And Burrough Lad, the better jump there. Come down towards the second last ditch, the 12th. Burrough Lad, Wayward Lad, Coombs Ditch. Burrough Lad from Wayward Lad. Beautiful jump from Burrough Lad, absolutely magnificent. Wayward Lad is in second place, just gets a slap down his shoulder there. Coombs Ditch is in third, not done with, 7 to jump. And John Frankham having none of this being out-jumped, is he?
No, he really went for a long one there and got it. A marvellous sight, and what a race this is now. Wayward Lad did just get a tap down the shoulder. He's not by any means on a tight rein, and Coombs Ditch isn't by any means out of it either. They're coming now towards the fence which ended Arkle's career in this race long ago, but let's hope that neither of them makes that kind of mistake. No, they don't. They jump it beautifully, and Coombs Ditch isn't at all far behind them. Robert Earnshaw still sitting fairly motionless on Wayward Lad. He hasn't really asked him, and I think John will start asking Burrough Lad now. They both ping it together, and it's still not a foregone conclusion. What a marvellous race.
Wayward Lad gets a reminder, gets another reminder. Got to be kept up to his work. There's 5 to jump. It's Burrough Lad, Wayward Lad and Coombs Ditch to go into the fence together. Marvellous sight, that. Wayward Lad on the outside of Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch back in third. They go to the last on the far side, the 4th from home. And it's Wayward Lad and Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch creeping ever closer. Coombs Ditch within a length, and Wayward Lad, Robert Earnshaw trying to ask that one to quicken. He's not finding a lot, and Burrough Lad, John Frankham's got the inside of him. But look at Colin Brown on Coombs Ditch just in behind these. What a race. They've got 3 more fences to jump. And it looks as if Wayward Lad is in distress and beginning to beat a retreat. Burrough Lad going on from Coombs Ditch. Can Wayward Lad now, back in third place, find any reserves? It doesn't look as if he can. But it's Coombs Ditch, the challenger to Burrough Lad. And Wayward Lad is out on his feet. They've got 3 more to jump. And it's Burrough Lad from Coombs Ditch. Burrough Lad on the inside. Coombs Ditch switched to the inside there. They've got 2 to jump. This is where John Frankham's going to have to ask Burrough Lad to quicken. If it were a handicap, Coombs Ditch would be getting a stone and a half. But it's Burrough Lad. Burrough Lad from Coombs Ditch. Wayward Lad back in third place, beaten and in distress. They've got 1 more fence to jump. And it's Burrough Lad on the right, Coombs Ditch on the left. And there's not that much to choose between the 2 of them as they come down towards the last. Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch. Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch. How do they meet it? They meet it together. Burrough Lad on the near side, Coombs Ditch on the far side. Both jockeys going for absolutely everything. Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch, nothing to choose between the 2. Burrough Lad sticking his neck out, but so too is Coombs Ditch. They're locked in combat at the line. Burrough Lad and Coombs Ditch have gone past the post absolutely together. And the only sad sight of this King George VI chase is Wayward Lad, who was trailed in last and afraid looked in some distress, but was beaten some way out. And so the outcome of this King George VI steeplechase, the outcome is a photo between number 1, Burrough Lad, owned by Mr. Stan Riley, trained it up at Lambourne by Mrs. Jenny Pipman, and ridden by John Frankham, if he's prevailed. John Frankham's 67th winner of the season, but it's mighty, mighty close, because Coombs Ditch, the only other horse there in the picture, number 2, owned by Mr. R.J. Torrey, trained at Whitby by David Ellsworth, and ridden by Colin Brown, has given Burrough Lad the fright of his life. Let's review the closing stages. Here's John.
And what we're seeing here is a magnificent feat of training by David Ellsworth, because even if Coomsditch hasn't quite got there, this is his first steeplechase, and coming to the second last, his first steeplechase for 20 months, and coming to the second last, he's really getting John Frankham worried on Burrough Hill Lad. The champion is under full pressure now. He really needs a good jump coming to the last, and in fact, if anything, Coomsditch jumps it just a little bit better. Colin Brown on Coomsditch over on the far side, coming to the last now. Let's slow it down a bit and see how they jump it. Coomsditch, perfect. Burrough Hill Lad possibly just a little bit close. Coomsditch not all that fast into his stride. And now John Frankham pulls the whip through into his left hand and exerts the full power of the finish, which has won him more races than any other jockey in jumping history. I think it wins him this one, but what a marvellous race the blinkered Coomsditch has run. He keeps sticking out his head all the way to the line. Colin Brown asking for everything and getting it, but I don't think it's quite enough. As the post comes up now, it looks as though Burrough Hill Lad...
And third, number 3, Wayward Lad at 5-2, 3 round.
And here comes a proud and happy man, Mr. Stan Riley, in the brown leather coat, with the beard, with his normal beard. And what a thrilling 2 years Jenny Pitman and Burrough Hill Lad have given him. How amazing that 10 stone 9 the horse carried when he won the Welsh Grand National just over a year ago. And now here he is at the top of the tree, not only earning his owner a lot of money, but giving him a tremendous lot of excitement, including the excitement of getting the trophy from Queen Elizabeth herself. He's now welcoming Jenny, the trainer, Jenny Pitman, in a rather fetching red hat, and she always says she's very nervous before the races, and I must say that one must have made her nervous almost all the way through. But it came out right in the end. Stan Riley on the right with the trophy. Queen Elizabeth in beautiful blue, which she likes so much and so often wears, talking to one of the 3 remarkable ladies who are now almost dominating British jumping. Mrs. Pitman, Mrs. Rymel, and Mrs. Dickinson.
Yeah, it was. We went a really good gallop. After we jumped the first, we went a good gallop. Robert, I think his plan was to take me on all the way and try and make me make mistakes jumping, which he did for a couple of fences, and then I was making him make a few mistakes. And they finished very tired. He was a very brave horse. He'd be better off going round Cheltenham left-handed. It was a bit sharp for him this way round.
It looks as if there's a sort of shootout between you and Wayward Lad. I mean, in fact, he knocked himself out at the end. He was trying to always put you down.
Yeah, you know, Jenny said, oh, we didn't go much of a gallop. Well, that wasn't one of the best chasers in England. Couldn't lay up with me. She complained because I came too soon in there and didn't make enough use of him today.
Oh, well, you've been given...
I think I'll let her ride him at Cheltenham in March. She probably...
Well, if Jenny Pitman didn't like the way you rode him, apparently Colin Brown's been given a larruping by David Ellsworth for coming too soon. So let's look at the closing stages, John, and see...
There's a poem about jockeys in the stands.
Well, here is John Frankham in front of Colin Brown.
Whereas that must have been the second last,
the second last.
Yeah.
And you're now...
you know, he's very tired now, this horse. And I haven't met the last properly at all. I've just had to slow down. He's gone a little bit left-handed.
We've got Jenny Pitman coming in as well. So Jenny coming to the last now. And it's very tight.
Very tight. I was a little bit worried here. Fortunately, we got a good jump out of it, and thanks to Johnny's riding, he got up there. This race and this track wouldn't suit him. This track's such an easy track. And really, we could have done with something to help us out a bit early on and make it a bit stronger run race. But Johnny has got him back up there. He's a gutsy horse to have won like he has done today. Everything against him.
And Jenny, David Ellsworth says that he should have won. He came too soon, that Colin Brown came too soon on Coomsditch. You, of course, know Coomsditch from along the way.
I think that's a bit hard on Colin, quite honestly. I think Colin rode the horse beautifully. I think it's unfortunate. You get beat a short head, you can't complain. I'm glad that I've won mine, but, you know, it's tough at the top.
She's still shaking, the poor old thing, I tell you what.
Well, we compared, people were comparing him with Arkle. That was a quite perhaps an Arkle performance.
No, Bruff, but then, you know, my horse is a big horse, and round here wouldn't suit him ideally. It'll be a different cup of tea, you know, we go back to Cheltenham, uphill and down Dale, and it'll be a whole different ball game there. He's going to get a month off now anyway. I promised him a month off.
And Jenny, John was saying you felt afterwards you hadn't made quite enough use of the horse. You think John will keep the ride somehow or other?
I wasn't going to say that actually, but I did think that they went very steady early on, but the horse can mislead you, and they can mislead you. When I've watched him working around the bottom, I've watched him with my other horses, and I've thought, Christ, they ain't going fast enough. I told him to go a good gallop today, and he's so misleading that the others are going like hell behind him, and he's got such a big long stride. But quite honestly, from when they jumped off, I was saying, go on, John, and I wouldn't, you know, they are.
You wouldn't want to be trying to catch him in the field, okay?
Thank you both very, very much.